Have you ever wondered about those fascinating insects that light up our night skies? They look like stars, but they aren't. Hello, my name is Henley Gavin, I'm from Lexington County, and today I'm presenting on Fantastic Fireflies, all about Lampyridae. So, what even are fireflies? Fireflies are a species of flying insect that produce their own light. They go through many different stages to get to their adult stage, and they have many different adaptations that enable them to be such cool insects. The anatomy of a firefly. Like most insects, adult fireflies have 6 legs, wings, a head, a thorax, an abdomen, and a hard exoskeleton. Something that's interesting, however, is that their larvae are much different from their adult stage. As you can see here, their larvae may not possess all of those unique attributes such as their head, thorax, and abdomen, and they also have a lot of different scales depending on the climate where they are living in. In a hotter and humid climate, they may have more scales. However, in a colder and cooler climate, they may have less. Similar to a more rocky terrain where they may need to have thinner bodies to slip into different rock crevices, they'll have thinner bodies. Whereas if they live mostly in leaf litter or on logs, they will have a thicker body. The life cycle of a firefly. The life cycle of a firefly starts with the adult female laying eggs. The eggs will then emerge into newly hatched larvae. Something that's really interesting about firefly larvae is that they're actually predatory, and they will eat smaller insects as well as different microorganisms. As these larvae continue to eat and continue to grow, they'll go through many different larval stages, where they will then pupa into a pupa, where they will stay in a almost comatose-like state for 20 days to 2 months, where they will then emerge as an adult firefly. Why do fireflies glow? This is a question you may have found yourself asking before. Fireflies glow as a unique adaptation for 2 main reasons. The first one being to find and attract mates. Male fireflies will glow and blink in a certain order to have female fireflies respond so that they can find each other. However, some female fireflies of different species may repeat these glows back to the male fireflies as a way to lure them in, where they will then eat the male firefly. This is a unique adaptation that allows these female fireflies to get a quick meal. Where do they live? While fireflies can live in many different locations, they prefer hot and humid climates with unharmed forest floors that have not been introduced to any pesticides or herbicides. One of these locations that fireflies live in are Congaree National Park within South Carolina. Something that's really interesting about Congaree National Park is that they have one of the only populations of synchronizing fireflies in the world. Fireflies' ecological impact. Fireflies have many important ecological impacts, one of them being a prey to different insects such as predatory insects like tiger beetles, as well as different arachnids such as spiders. They can also be eaten by birds and some mice and voles. Another important ecological impact that fireflies have are that they are actually an indicator species. Fireflies can indicate a healthy and untouched habitat. Because fireflies are extremely susceptible to herbicides and pesticides, they may be a way to tell if a habitat is healthy by the amount of fireflies located in that habitat. If a habitat has high quantities of herbicides and pesticides, there will be lower quantities of fireflies. Another interesting thing that fireflies can be an indicator species for is light pollution. Fireflies are extremely susceptible to light pollution as they are not able to see each other's blinks. I want you to put yourself in the shoes of a firefly. Let's say that you're living on a beautiful field. There's no houses around for miles. It's completely dark with only the light of the stars. Now, seeing a blink from another firefly would be fairly easy. However, let's say you moved and you were in a city now with different stores producing lights, street lights, house lights, floodlights, all of these different lights. that impair you from being able to see the other fireflies in their blinks. This would make it extremely difficult to find each other and to reproduce. This is what has been going on with many fireflies for a while. As I was mentioning before, light pollution is an extremely harmful thing to fireflies. This is why some fireflies have been going endangered or even extinct. As you can see here, this is a map representing different light pollution areas and how concentrated they are. In these areas of higher concentration of light pollution, there's a lower concentration of fireflies. And some of these light polluted areas are where even endangered species of fireflies live. Because of this, their populations are declining, and as I said, some are going extinct. So, how can we help our cool, fascinating, lighting up the sky fireflies? One way to help is by using a unique app called Firefly Atlas. This app allows you to keep tracks and to survey firefly populations. By doing this, you can let Firefly Atlas know what populations may be declining and what populations seem to be thriving. This is important as they can make observations and possibly get them onto the endangered species list. Another way to help ways that fireflies have been helped are the endangered species list, such as the Firefly Specialist Group that works with the endangered species list. This group helps get fireflies on the endangered species list and make sure that they are getting the protection that they need. Because the Endangered Species List and Endangered Species Act has helped so many other populations of animals, this group also helps that this will help different species of fireflies regain their population and make sure that they do not go extinct. Another great organization is the Xerces Society. This society doesn't only help fireflies, but other endangered insects and arthropods. Something that I love about this society is that they're making sure that while the endangered species list will help the fireflies, that they're giving them extra protection and extra areas where they can live. They also make sure that habitats that have been polluted in the past, they make ways to have these habitats protected and make sure that their pollution will not continue. Why fireflies? You may be thinking, out of all the topics I could have chosen, why did I choose fireflies? For my whole entire life, I've always loved insects. I've been a huge fan. I would always go out and see roly-polies and ladybugs, and I just have always been fascinated with them, especially fireflies. At my house, it used to feel like there was always so many fireflies. They looked like Christmas lights on the ground, just lighting up everywhere you looked. But unfortunately, as time continued, it seemed like there was less and less and less of those magical insects. And as that continued, I started to notice that this is a serious problem, not only where I live, but where other people lived as well. That is why I decided to choose fireflies. Another reason why I chose fireflies is that when I grow up, I would like to become an entomologist as my job. And as an entomologist, some of the things that I would be doing is creating presentations on fireflies and trying to raise awareness for other insects that may be in peril, such as these ones. My sources. There are a lot of helpful sources when it came to studying these interesting insects. Some that really stand out to me was Firefly Atlas for their wonderful ways to track different fireflies and to understand what different species of fireflies that there were. Another helpful one was bugguide.net, which provided many good pictures of fireflies for me to use for my presentation, and another one being Britannica that listed an easy to understanding of fireflies, which I really appreciated. Conclusion. Before I close out this presentation, I would like to remind you of some of the topics we went over. We went over what are fireflies, the anatomy of a firefly, the life cycle of a firefly, places where fireflies lived, their ecological impact, fireflies that could be endangered, and sources as well as ways to help fireflies. As I close out this presentation, I would like to encourage you to go and help fireflies and to make a change in your community. Thank you.